The video you are about to watch, although animated, is a real story of a real military member. The story follows our hero and his family as they were relocated to another military base years ago. This is otherwise known as a PCS, or Permanent Change in Station, which happens every 3 or 4 years. You will witness firsthand the very real struggles and pain points experienced by all the members of our hero's family as they navigate all the challenges they face. Let's watch as the story unfolds.
Meet the hero of our story, Matt Carlson. Matt is a sergeant in the United States Army, stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. His family includes his wife, Julie, 2 boys, Nick and Will, and their chief security officer, Max, their golden retriever. Matt has just been given a relocation notice to a new duty station across the country. A moving company will be sent to their house in North Carolina to collect the majority of their household goods. With the leftover essentials packed in their vehicle, the Carlsons wave goodbye to their former home and fasten all seatbelts for the long 4-day road trip. Their destination? A hotel room on Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State, where they'll stay until permanent housing is secured. The Carlsons arrive to Washington exhausted. They check into the temporary living quarters and unpack their essentials. A small kitchenette, 2 queen beds, and a bathroom makes up the total of their tiny living space. The next morning, Matt ventures to the housing office on base, where he's promptly told that on-base housing won't be available for at least 90 to 120 days, if not longer. Matt is stunned. He counted on housing for his family. This was plan A all along. But what Matt doesn't know is he has officially come face to face with the villain of our story, the monstrous housing dilemma. Frustrated that on-base housing isn't available anytime soon, he returns back to the hotel to discuss the situation with his wife, Julie. They can't live in this hotel room forever. This creates yet another problem. Without a physical address, they can't register their kids for school. Plus, their household goods from North Carolina will have to be held at a storage facility nearby until they have permanent housing. Matt, his wife, kids, and dog will all be cooped up in extremely tight quarters for much longer than they thought. The tensions are amplified. Financial stress is also elevated. Hotel rates and eating out are expensive. On top of all of this, his housing allowance hasn't been activated yet. Therefore, they're paying for all of this out of pocket. Time to move to Plan B, searching for off-base rental housing. They first turn to Zillow, Craigslist, and Facebook groups. It's immediately clear that there's very little rental inventory. What is available doesn't look that nice, but at this point, they have to take what they can get. They submit applications on rental properties, hoping something will work out soon. Out of 10 emails sent in one day, 4 of them were online scams trying to get their information and money. 3 never responded, and the other 3 had already been rented. It seems every time they turn around, another opportunity doesn't pan out. They are now realizing they just landed in the middle of a supply and demand war. The monstrous housing dilemma is wreaking its havoc for our hero and his family. Feeling pressured by the lack of rental options, they turn to Plan C and look into purchasing a home with Matt's VA loan. They don't feel ready to buy, don't know the area well, and they're also concerned about the large responsibility of home ownership. But still, they research mortgage lenders, submit an application, and start house hunting with a real estate agent. They tour several homes in their price point and write what they feel are competitive offers on every single one. Out of all 5 offers, they are passed over. Their agent confirms their fears, that the market is incredibly hot and getting offers accepted is challenging and competitive. The villain seems to be winning this battle too. Adding more pressure to Matt's plate, our hero must meet his military responsibilities and report to his unit for in-processing and training. He's now forced to balance daily duties with the Army while also helping his wife secure housing for their family. They've logged 60 days in the hotel. Morale is low. On-base housing still has no properties available. The rental market continues to be challenging, with more scams every day. Buying also yields no results as the ultra-competitive bidding wars are just too much to win alone. Late one night, Matt and Julie find themselves frustrated and dog-tired by this ongoing housing nightmare. They say to each other, there has to be a better way to find a place to live. Why isn't there a housing program just for us? How nice that would be. Yes, the monstrous housing dilemma has taken yet another victim and his family hostage.
What an absolute nightmare. Can you imagine practically having your whole life put on hold because you can't find a place to live? Kids can't go to school. All your household goods are stuck in storage. Overall costs 3 times what's normal. Heightened stress because nothing seems to connect. This is not a new problem. In fact, more military families face this exact story more than ever before. But I see a different story. I see a better solution to this problem right at our fingertips. Let's rewind the story of the Carlsons back to the very beginning. What if, instead, their story went something like this?
Matt has just been given a relocation notice to a new duty station across the country. They are headed to Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State, except this time, he calls in air support. He heard that Red Dot can make his search for housing way easier. Instead of waiting to get to Washington only to meet the housing dilemma villain, a strategic plan is developed. This plan puts our hero on offense. Matt and his family get approved right away, and they tour homes virtually from North Carolina. Before they even depart on their journey, Red Dot secures a home for them. Do you know what this means? They now have a permanent address to call home. That means no hotel stay, no waiting to get the kids registered for school, no household goods going into storage, and no stress or financial burden. This time, the Carlsons arrived to Washington charged and excited. Red Dot is waiting at their new home with keys in hand. Instead of despair and lost opportunities, they're happy and celebrating. The first story ended in them wondering, wishing that there were a better way to find a home. You want to know what the biggest worry on their mind is now? What's for dinner? They have a bright stay ahead. Just look at those smiling faces. Yes, the monstrous housing dilemma has been defeated thanks to a program that was built just for them.